This is the final scene of the play The Galilean. It takes place in the Roman prison of Pilate. It is late on the night that Jesus is arrested, actually very early the next morning, just before dawn. The dungeon-like room of the prison is dimly lit, and there with Jesus is Caiaphas, the chief high priest, dressed in his regal robes. And Jesus is chained by his right wrist to a center pole. His body is limp and bloody from the beatings that he has endured. He's lying on the floor. His head is elevated, his right arm is outstretched. The chain holds him up and prevents him from being able to lie completely on the floor. And Caiaphas speaks. "Well, well, well. How does it feel now that you have made it to the seat of power to lie in the bowels of the awesome might of Rome? Pilate's reputation is well deserved, and you have only begun to feel his torture. Not a pleasant place, is it? Well, this is where you end up when you dare to challenge the authority and power of those who are trying to carry out the real work of God." He gets right into Jesus' face. "Don't you have anything to say? Has coming before that chief high priest finally silenced you? Made you recognize who stands between you and your God?" Ah! Caiaphas turns away, then turns back. "Actually, I have wanted to meet you face to face. I've heard a lot about you, Jesus of Nazareth. Interesting, really, how someone like you has created such a stir. You, an untrained peasant from an obscure poverty-filled village tucked in the hills of farming country, and yet, somehow, you have enthralled the masses with excitement and false hope, telling them wrong ideas about God, telling sinners they are forgiven when they cannot possibly be, and flaunting tradition by disobeying laws given to us by God in the Scriptures. Indeed, Jesus, by your words and your actions, you have managed to draw the attention of every one of my council members, advisors, and staff. You have been irresponsible, Jesus, and yet I don't even think you realize that. Do you know what you have done? Are you so naive and lacking in your theological understanding that you don't realize the very foundations you are shaking? You are a threat to the religious practices and ideas that make up the core of our heritage, the essence of truths that are so precious, because they have come directly from God. How can you be so wrong and not know it?" After a long pause, Caiaphas begins again. "Jesus, your silence is exhausting. I know of your good works among the unfortunate. My people have told me almost unbelievable stories of your deep love and compassion. I want you to know, I know you are a good person, that you mean well. That's what makes it so hard to understand." Caiaphas walks over to Jesus, seeing his condition, touches his swollen face with pity. "It's obvious that you have chosen to be silent. But I have one question that nags me more than any other. It's not a question to argue over. It's simply personal." And Jesus looks at him deeply. "Why, Jesus? Why did you let us arrest you tonight? Why didn't you slip away to safety? Wouldn't it be better to hide and live